To understand the politics that brings together people as different as Nick Fuentes, J.D. Vance, Viktor Orban, and Mr. Yoram Hazony of Israel, we're going to need to understand Catholic integralism. Now, Catholic integralism is a far-right philosophy based in the Catholic religion. It is a fringe belief that could be reasonably described as of a heresy. It believes in what they call a political Catholicism. Sohrab Ahmari, a theorist behind Catholic integralism, has stated that he views political Catholicism as a mass political movement, a mass religion of Catholicism that encompasses not just the religious sphere, but an entire civilization. The Catholic integralist view of the world that is pushed by people like J.D. Vance or Harvard Law School's Adrian Vermeulen, this is an idea that the church's ideas, their beliefs, are supreme to the ideas of civil society. And it is a very much fundamentalist belief in that the teachings of earlier church fathers were much more real than the teachings of current church fathers. This is also why people from the Catholic integralist tradition seem to have major problems with the actual pope of their religion. Because unfortunately for people like J.D. Vance, the current pope and the last pope were both quite progressive. Catholic integralists want to roll back history to before the French Revolution. It is a response to the rise of the Enlightenment, for science, for empiricism. It is to try to place the supremacy of the church back in the lives of every single person, and more importantly, a supremacy over countries. It draws upon specifically reactionary texts written by earlier popes, specifically stuff like the Rerum Novarum. Now, this piece of work talks a lot about the church's response to the rising labor movement, proletarian identity, socialism, democracy, and capitalism as a whole. Catholic integralism views itself as deliberately against liberalism, socialism, communism, the working class, and proletarian identity, and seeks to re-embed a traditionalist view based in medieval society of how society should be structured. This is based in the idea of the corporation, and we need to not think of it in our modern sense, but in the baseline understanding of this word, as a corporation is just a body. So both a university or a country or a social administration, or for example, your family could be considered bodies or corporations. In the Catholic integralist view of the world, every single person and part of society has a perfect specific place it should be placed into, a specific role in the society that needs to be fulfilled, because that is the word and rule of God. Catholic integralists also have deeply revisionist and reactionary views on history, where they try to view themselves in an endless warfare and spiritual battle against the forces of the left and liberalism. The current version of American integralism, which is pushed forward by people like Steve Bannon and J.D. Vance, is one that foresees a future where liberalism and capitalism in its current structure will collapse, and that they want to build up a completely parallel and alternative society to step in. Don't view this as a destruction of the elites, but instead as replacing them with their own. Their end state is a world where Catholic elites control the powers of the state, and not only that, they have seized control of the church itself to have it start issuing diktats that fall in line with their views on history, society, and how they want to deal with their enemies. It is a movement that very seriously wants to overthrow over 250 years of progress, both in politics and in society and sciences. It wishes to roll back all of the world to a late medieval society where the church had a place in everyone's lives, whether we wanted it to or not. And I need to really re-emphasize that this is a fringe view within the Catholic Church. This is not what a mainstream normal Catholic would believe or maybe even know exists within the church. But that doesn't make it toothless. It has major tentacles into every aspect of the far right in the Americas, Europe, and across the world. The Catholic Church still remains an incredibly influential political body and social body in almost every single country in the world around the entire world, including in Asia and Africa, where it has incredible weight in politics. Integralists want to see a future where they're able to wield that power to control countries. They want to wield it to create their universal church, not as an idea in Catholic theology, but as a real thing that exists in the world. They wish to see the death of liberalism and the end of the left. They wish to see a future trapped forever in stasis underneath their medieval worldview. And they are highly adept at using the tools of modern society to get their ends, to push their propaganda. And they have deep-pocketed donors from around the world and huge political allies, people like Viktor Orban and Yoram Hazony, who are able to found organizations like National Conservative Conference that is bringing together forces on the right and far right around the world to pursue these political ends. And forms of Protestant, evangelical, Jewish, Hindu integralisms have sprouted up out of the woodwork. This is not something that's just contained just to Catholicism anymore, as these organizations like National Conservative Conference are cross-pollinating ideas amongst different political parties from different countries and different backgrounds. And it's important right now to address Catholics who are watching this, because this is a heresy in the church that wishes to pursue some of the darkest ends that we have seen in history. These are the politics that were behind the Austro-fascist regime in Austria under Engelbert Dollfuss, the fascist regime of Francisco Franco in Spain that went on for decades and ended up with mass graves, and similarly in Portugal under Salazar. Dealing with far-right religious extremism is the responsibility of co-religionists of that faith. It is important that you are stamping out the fascist movements that are growing within you, not only within your faith, but all of us together as a society. These people have a lot of power. They are right next to the most important people in the world, or they are the leaders of literal countries. It is vital that we understand right now so that we're able to stand up and not allow the last 250 years of progress to be wiped away to achieve a religious fantasy of a few men. Thank you for watching. Please do some replies and donate if you can. It keeps the show going and my rent paid.